Hello guys, how are you? Here Gabby again. Today we are going to talk about a little bit about CQRS pattern. Okay, so as a context, one of the fastest ways to create a messy code is mixing reads and writes in the same operation, and CQRS exists to stop that before it happens, right? So, what stands CQRS for? CQRS stands for Commands Query Responsibility Segregation. So it's a segregation of responsibility of command and query. Okay? It's a pattern that clearly separates two operations, two kinds of operation, commands and queries. Okay? So a command modifies state. A query only reads data. And the key idea here is you avoid mixing responsibilities. So an operation either or changes data or queries data, but not both at the same time. So you could have, I don't know, features from a user story that you are deploying, that you are building and writing code, and you apply the CQRS pattern, and you develop two separate endpoints, one for read the data of an entity and other one for update, and the update could be a command, and when you try to retrieve the entity, for example, it's going to be a query. That's why, because when you mix them, you get an unclear intent. It's harder to test, and you can accidentally have side effects. So, why mixing responsibilities hurts? That's what we talked recently. If one endpoint both reads and writes, you can start to see the problems like unpredictable behavior, hidden side effects, harder performance tuning, harder debugging. You would need to know, hey, we are reading or we are writing or both, or what happened here. You have to have a clear logs, metrics, and traceability and observability to know what's happening there, because you don't know if you are optimizing a read, a write, or both. So when do we use CQRS? No, so we can use it when we want two things. First, greater code clarity, and second, better separation of responsibilities. So if our key is to separate responsibilities, CQRS is a good way to separate features and the development of user stories and so on. So when the system grows, each path stays clean. Read paths are optimized for reading, and write paths are optimized for business changes. And also, for example, if you are working in a microservice that have end services inside, and one service is getting monstrous, gigantic, with a lot of operations, it's difficult to read, to maintain, to refactor, and so on. But if you have a good business logic with clarity, and you know what to do with the entities and value objects and the models of your microservice, you can clearly do CQRS and maintain it like a vertical slice, doing commands and queries. You should have to remember one thing: CQRS force your code to communicate intent. So with that is as the same before. You are communicating what do you want to do. Do you want to read? Do you want to change or create something? If this is a command, it change a state. If this is a query, it only reads. The clarity scales. Okay, so I hope this brief conversation about CQRS, particularly we are talking about in .NET microservices, hopes you um, clarify something. And as a summary, the commands change state, queries only read. CQRS is about intent and purpose. We do not mix the reads and writes, and this improves clarity and separation. Okay, see you next time.